On the corner of 25 West Main Street in downtown Vermilion, the spot Winnie Mays is proud to support programming on Coyote News. The spot Winnie Mays providing salon and spa services for men, women, and children.
Coming up on Coyote News, a local church applies for a national registry status.
Plus, a look at a potential new sorority coming to campus. Coyote News starts right now.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Good evening, I'm Delaney Nellis.
And I'm Philip Larson. We'll have those stories and more, but first.
The South Dakota Department of Health reports 264 new COVID-19 cases. The CDC reports the state is second in the nation for total positive cases per capita. More than 13,000 South Dakotans have been infected per 100,000 people. Hospitalizations are up for the fifth day. There are 104 people currently hospitalized. The DOH says people in their 30s have been the most infected age group for the past 2 weeks with roughly 600 cases. The second most infected group are people between 10 and 19 years old with about 580 infections.
At last night's SGA meeting, the Hammock Club argued they should be given a large organization status for their budget. As a large student organization at USD, more general activity funding would be available for them to request in their budget. Currently, 4 organizations on campus are classified as large. Margaret Meyer-Henry is the Hammock Club founder and president. She says that it's about being involved in something bigger.
From the large impact we've already made in our first year of being a student org, that we would be able to expand our horizons and the benefits of our members by obtaining large org status.
The motion for Hammock Club to be designated as a large organization failed on the Senate floor. Meyer-Henry says the club may have to alter its plans going forward. SGA will begin their budget hearings next week to determine how much funding each organization will receive.
The Fine Arts Building on USD campus presents a new exhibition in the gallery exhibit. Coyote News' Caitlin Sterling tells us about letterpress printing.
The John A. Day Gallery, located in the Fine Arts Building, is featuring an exhibit called Letterpress, From Industry to Art. Gallery director Amy Phil says the exhibit is a great way to teach students and faculty about the art of letterpress printing.
Students are more than welcome to come in and spend some time looking around. We have an extensive array of different types of processes. We have video playing that is also educational. James brought some tools of the trade, so there are physical objects that can be viewed and handled.
Letterpress is a form of printing that first began in the 1450s. During this relief process, ink is applied and pressed into the paper, leaving behind texture you can feel. The letterpress collection contains work from USD students and from topographers from all over the United States. Co-curator of the exhibition, James Quigley, says the gallery contains work from some of the most cutting-edge letterpress creators.
We have Lead Graffiti out of Newark, Delaware, who are the apex predators right now, I think, in the world of just general letterpress and experimentation. We have Jen Farrell from Starshade Press, Lindsay Schmidl, who was her apprentice, got her work on the walls. We have Amos Kennedy, Laura Kinneberg, Lauren Emmerich, Jesse Kirsch, Richard Kegler from P22. Oh yeah, we're hitting some big names here.
The exhibition is open to the public Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. The closing reception will allow participants to create their own letterpress demos as a memoir of the collection. Reporting for Coyote News, I'm Caitlin Sterling.
Thanks, Caitlin. The closing ceremony for the letterpress exhibit is April 9th from 5 to 7 in the evening at the John A. Day Gallery.
Starting on Monday, the parking lot west of the Lee Medical Center will be permanently closed while construction's underway for the new Health Sciences building. The west entrance to the Med Center will be closed for the duration of the project. On April 12th, the accessible parking spaces will temporarily be relocated to the south end of the lot. The university is asking students to use a different route during this time.
A local church in Vermilion wants to protect their building by applying to become part of the American National Register of Historic Places. The United Church of Christ started the process of getting on the Registry of National Places 2 years ago by filling out a 65-page application. A member of the church told us how far along that application process is.
We recently received notification from the State Historical Society that we had been advanced to the state board, that our application for register on the National Historic Preservation Registry.
The National Historic Registry is a list of buildings federally protected from being torn down to help preserve them based on American history, architecture, and culture. There are only 90,000 buildings within the United States that are on that list, including the Fall D. Hubert House in Vermillion. If approved by the state and federal historical boards, the building will be added to the list of historic places. Phil, after that warm spike earlier this week, what can we expect going forward?
Well, Delaney, it should warm back up and hopefully that wind backs down. Right now, it's a partly cloudy 42 degrees outside, with the low for tonight coming in at 19. Tomorrow should be sunny, bringing a high near 56 degrees and a low of 38. Friday brings warm and sunny skies with a high of 71 degrees and a low around 39. The sun continues into the weekend, with Saturday there being a nice high of 76 degrees and a low of 46. And that is all for your Coyote weather.
Thanks, Phil. Still to come on Coyote News, a look at a student-run financial conference.
The Media and Journalism Department has opened my eyes to a world of new careers and occupations that I never knew were possible.
I'm an M&J major because I wanted to be a part of something that is important, and whether we realize it or not, media and journalism is around us every single day.
The Media and Journalism Department has allowed me to gain pretty hands-on experience and jump right into student media activities.
Gallagher Center for Experiential Learning and Education Abroad provides students once-in-a-lifetime opportunities through many of our student-centered programming.
Through the Gallagher Center, I can find experiences such as service learning, study abroad, national student exchange, and undergraduate research.
Visit our website to learn more about all the cool things you can do through the Gallagher Center.
This is Coyote News.
USD currently has 4 sororities on campus, but with enough student interest, that number could change to 5 by next school year. Abby Kaup has more information about how this addition could happen.
USD's Pan-Hellenic Council and directors in sorority and fraternity life have been working with area coordinators to get a Sigma Gamma Rho presence on campus. Allison Giese, president of Pan-Hellenic Council, says that steps must be taken to get the new sorority on campus.
We're in the very early stages right now, so it's a really big if at this point. It's really about if students are interested and if they're willing to get this started, that we can bring it to campus.
Students can help get the new sorority on campus by expressing their interest to Laura Anderton, Director of Sorority and Fraternity Life and Leadership.
Anderton can then help students get in contact with area Sigma Gamma Rho coordinators. Sigma Gamma Rho is the 4th largest African American collegiate sorority, and it places a strong focus on academic success, leadership, and service. Giese explains what impact this addition would have on USD's Greek life.
We would just be welcoming in more members of our community, and it would be a really great way to diversify and just expand our reach on campus.
If there's enough student interest, executives at Sigma Gamma Rho have set next school year as a tentative timeline for the new sorority. Reporting for Coyote News, I'm Abby Kaup.
Just like other student organizations, there must be at least 5 students interested in order for the sorority to begin the colonization process on campus.
Over the weekend, a student-led investing organization on USD campus called Coyote Capital Management participated in the annual Game Forum. Game Forum is a student-run financial conference that attracts the attention of big-name companies and universities throughout the nation. Joshua Van Houten, The president of Coyote Capital Management says it is all about the experience that comes with participating in this event.
I think it's just a great way for students to gain insight into sort of the different career paths and opportunities within finance or other financial services.
Universities also have the chance to compete in a global portfolio competition that will showcase their skills in asset management to attending companies. Coyote Capital Management plans on attending next year's annual event in New York.
Today is International Transgender Day of Visibility. Transgender and non-binary people around the world are recognizing the annual event along with their allies and advocates. Transgender visibility in the U.S. is at an all-time high in politics, media, and sports. Monday, the South Dakota House voted to override Governor Kristi Noem's veto of House Bill 1217. Less than an hour later, the governor announced the signing of 2 executive orders meant to, in her words, protect fairness in K-12 and college athletics. Coyote News' Rachel Peckosh is live in the muck for more about what the executive orders might mean for South Dakota. Rachel?
Thanks, Delaney. On Monday, Governor Kristi Noem killed a bill she proposed that would ban transgender females from participating in female athletics. I'm here with political science professor Michael Card. So, Michael, Governor Noem signed 2 new executive orders in place, one for K-12 students and one for collegiate athletes. Do you foresee either of these orders being legally challenged by any organizations?
Well, I do see them being challenged. Executive orders are usually dependent upon an existing law, and they put the law into effect or direct the bureaucracy to put the law into effect. With the one dealing with the Board of Regents, the governor has very little authority over the Board of Regents other than to recommend a budget to the legislature. But her executive order says the Board of Regents should institute policies. With respect to K-12 education, the governor asserted that she was going to direct the State Department of Education to develop rules regarding how each school district would handle this particular issue. One of the challenges is that state law currently provides for each school district to delegate their responsibility for running interscholastic events to an organization. In South Dakota, almost all belong to the South Dakota High School Activities Association. Meanwhile, yesterday, the Secretary of Education, Tiffany Sanderson, sent a letter to the school districts telling them that they should implement her policy, which she then provided, and said, we expect this to be followed. So it's not clear whether those executive orders have any legal standing, but there may be areas of the law that I'm unaware of because executive order legislation is spread throughout the state's statutes. But it's not clear whether those will be enforceable, and without a doubt, I expect a lawsuit from the American Civil Liberties Union protecting the civil rights of transgender women.
Right. And what do you think these orders, what kind of effects they will have on trans people?
Well, I'm not versed in the mindset of transgender people, but I expect that most will be disappointed because it's whether the proponents of the legislation say this really doesn't deal with transgender individuals, it clearly does. Whereas there is a process that the South Dakota High School Activities Association has put forward dealing with participation in sports. Only one person has made it through their process, which determines psychological as well as physical ability to compete and whether there produces an unfair advantage. So there really isn't a crisis. There isn't a pressing need for this. And it still would seem to be that the individuals involved would feel that they're being persecuted, perhaps.
Definitely. Thank you so much for speaking with us today, Michael.
Well, thank you for having me.
Live in the Muck with Coyote News, I'm Rachel Peckosh.
Thanks, Rachel. The Human Rights Campaign, one of the nation's largest LGBTQ rights groups, opposes Governor Noem's orders, saying they're unconstitutional.
While USD continues to operate in Phase 3, the Wellness Center has begun to transition back to pre-COVID status, with some protocols still in place. The center underwent multiple adjustments for proper social distancing, which included closing every other exercise machine. While all machines are now open, users must take a provided towel and bottle of disinfectant with them so they can be wiped down before and after they are used. Hand sanitizer stations are placed throughout the building, and the center's capacity policy limits workouts to a maximum of 1 hour. The Wellness Center staff continue to monitor proper capacity restrictions and social distancing. The building will close an hour early each night for deep cleaning.
Students from USD's College of Fine Arts had the chance to share some of their artistic skills on campus over the weekend. The College of Fine Arts Inclusive Excellence Students Committee hosted their first Make Your Voice Heard open mic night at the Muck Pit on Friday. The goal of the event is to bring together students from the College of Fine Arts and give them a unique platform to express themselves. Inclusive Student Excellence Committee member Oliver Mays says that this event is beneficial to fine arts students because it creates a space that allows for the collaboration of different artistic languages.
We are typically all separated throughout the College of Fine Arts and kind of doing our own thing. And this event allows all of us to come together. And you're gonna see a wide range of types of performances. So we have a lot of musical performances, whether that be piano or other instruments. We have vocal performances, we have acting, we have musical theater songs that are being done on the guitar rather than the piano. So lots of variety.
Students performed 10 different acts throughout the night, which included solo and group performances. The College of Fine Arts Inclusive Excellence Committee plans to host more open mic nights in the future. Sierra, I hear COVID got in the way of another football game.
That's right, Delaney. We're going to hear from Deputy Athletic Director Mike West about that and more.
This is Coyote News.
Hi, I'm Sierra Prue, and this is your Coyote Sports. After a 1-5 start to the Coyote soccer season, USD picked up a much-needed sweep over Oral Roberts. Over the weekend, the Coyotes hosted the Golden Eagles for a doubleheader that took place Friday and Sunday at the First Bank & Trust Soccer Complex. USD provided outstanding defense throughout the first game, turning several counterattacks into a pair of goals, including one in the 9th minute by Shaylee Galis. Yotes won the game 2-1. Sunday, Oral Roberts fought with USD in the first half, but the Yotes kept the lead. By the beginning of the second half, Taylor Cotter set up Madison Sullivan to kick it in the goal. The Yotes ended the game 4-1. The Coyotes are back in action tomorrow when they'll host North Dakota State at 6 p.m. Last week, the Coyote women's basketball team finished its postseason at the NCAA tournament. Coyote News' Caitlin Sterling is live in the Muck to learn more about what's next for the team as they prepare for next year. Caitlin?
Thanks, Sierra. I'm here with Deputy Athletic Director Mike West. Thank you for being here today, Mike. All right, so as we know, 3 seniors seniors are returning for an extra year. How will that affect recruitment for the women's basketball team?
You know, each program's a little different, and each coach has a different philosophy, and so managing resources and managing roster size, just how you practice, each coach is going to have a little bit different of philosophy, and I'm not sure what Dawn's philosophy is, but as Dawn always does, she will make it work and make us proud.
So what has this group of seniors meant to the basketball program?
You know, they've, I think, established this program at a different level. Most programs look to compete at a high level within their conference, and this group has really established themselves as leaders nationwide.
Definitely. So around this time of year is like when coaches will announce if they're leaving the program or if they're going to stay. So do you foresee any coaches leaving or any new coaches joining USD Athletics?
You know, I don't think you ever know. I haven't heard anything, but I don't think you ever do. I think you just hope for the best. And, you know, our fan base is so great and our student athletes are so good to work with. And I think USD is a special place, and we just hope that we do what we can to retain talented people.
Definitely. What does the women's basketball team need to do next season in order to get back to the NCAA tournament?
Well, I think they just keep doing what they're doing. I mean, again, they've really established themselves as a group that, you know, leads the way nationally. Last year especially, I mean, some of their top 30 wins were unbelievable, and the way they did it was unbelievable. And this year was a shortened season, but they had a great year, and if they just continue doing what they're doing, I think we're going to continue to see them in the tournament.
All right, for sure. Well, thank you so much for all your information and your time today.
Thank you.
Live in the muck for Coyote News, I'm Caitlin Sterling.
Thanks again, Caitlin. Again, 3 of the 5 seniors, which are Hannah Shervin, Chloe Lamb, and Liv Korngable, have committed back to the University of South Dakota women's basketball team, and they're returning to play next year. Over the weekend, Coyote volleyball claimed their 8th win of the season, defeating Western Illinois. The team reached a season best in kills with 52. Madison Juergens assisted her team 36 times and caught 10 digs, while Elizabeth Junkie and Madison Harms accounted for double-digit kills, 17 and 11. Closing the overall season with a 13-6 record and a 12-3 division record, the team finished in 3rd in the Summit League. They will face Kansas City this Friday at the Pentagon in Sioux Falls for the first round of the Summit League tournament. At USD, intramural sports are popular. It's a part of the college experience. The Wellness Center holds multiple intramural competitions. On the court is where students create friendships and let off a little steam from their week. Courtney Waterbury plays intramural volleyball. She says playing gives her a break from her academics.
I actually think it balances pretty well. Like, I'm in the dental hygiene program, and we all know that's like pretty stressful and hard, but taking an hour every day to like do something fun really helps. I feel like with your academics, it's to like take your mind off things, come back, regroup, and do your homework.
Registrations for many spring sports still are open on the IM League webpage. The Coyote track and field team claimed 12 events at the Wildcat Classic at Wayne State over the weekend. Will Stupalski took gold in the long jump with a leap of 21 feet and 7.5 inches. Jesse Sullivan placed himself on the top 10 list for the USD shot put, ranking 7th on the list. Only Coyotes took the top 3 spots for the women's 5,000 meter, led by Briley Hartwig, and for the men's 800 meters, Luke Olson took the top spot. The track and field outdoor home opener takes place on Saturday. The USD football team's prepping for their home game against the UNI Panthers on Friday night. The team hasn't competed in 2 weeks following the cancellation of their Saturday game against NDSU due to COVID-19. This marks the 3rd game change in less than a week in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. The conference canceled Saturday's game after a positive test in contact tracing in the Bison's Tier 1 personnel. The next game is Friday night against the Panthers starting at 6. That's all for your Coyote sports. Coming up on Coyote News, students told us what their sleep schedule is like.
Lately, you might have seen one of these red stands around campus and wondered, hey, what's the Volant? Well, actually, it's pronounced the Volant. We've served as the student's voice since 1887. We capture the moments and the stories that matter and bring them to you for free on both digital and print platforms. News, verb, sports, opinion. It's important to you, it's important to us, because, well, we're one and the same. We're the Volant. Pick us up.
PAVE is promoting awareness, victim empowerment, but it's more than that. PAVE is hope, community, inspiring, change, friendship, diverse, USD, understanding, important, dedicated, powerful. PAVE is shattering the silence of sexual violence.
This is Coyote News.
During college, students lose track of a well-balanced sleep schedule.
In this week's Out and About, we asked students on average how many hours of sleep they get.
Here's what they had to say.
Probably like 6 or 7, maybe 8.
I usually get about 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night.
7 or 8.
I go to bed early, so maybe like 8.
5, I'd say. Now I get 8 hours. I used to get like 6, but I felt like crap. So now I make sure to get 8 every night.
About like 6 or 7.
7.
6 or 7. About 11.
7 to 8. 5 to 6.
Depends, like if I don't have any homework I have to do, I might get about 7 to 6 hours. On days I do have homework, it'd be 5 hours at most.
We usually get around 6 hours of sleep on weekdays.
Average is like 6. Sometimes I go to bed at 11 and wake up at 8. Sometimes I go to bed at 4 a.m. and wake up at 8.
4 to 5.
I get about 5 hours of sleep every night.
Maybe 6 or 7 when I'm trying to. Other than that, 4 or 5.
Probably about 6. About 7 hours of sleep.
Lil Nas X hit back against Kristi Noem after she seized on his Satan-themed sneaker line to argue that America was engaged in a battle for its soul. The rapper announced over the weekend that he was releasing the trainers in collaboration with the design company MSCHF. Each of the 666 pairs on sale is said to contain a single drop of human blood. They were released as a tie-in with the rapper's recent single, Montero, the video for which shows the rapper descending into hell and pole dancing for the devil. Governor Noem received criticism from both the rapper and other Twitter users. Lil Nas X released an apology video that contained a clip from the original music video.
Be sure to pick up this week's issue of The Volant with a look into how Greek life is adapting to restrictions on social gatherings.
That's all for Coyote News. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat.
And watch and listen for Coyote News daily updates throughout the week on KAOR and the Coyote News social media pages.
Thank you for joining us, and have a great night.